fined for that to the extent that they had $650 in security deposit, and that at least part of that has to go towards cleaning up this apartment.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Cleaning up and putting it into reasonable condition.
Right.
And I think that probably $150 or $200 is reasonable to clean up that apartment. The problem is you stayed beyond the term of your lease. So you don't get any credit for August rent.
Right.
Which means that you owe her some money to clean up the apartment, the mess that you made, which is a couple of $100. So on the counterclaim, I'm awarding her $200 to clean up the apartment, and I'm awarding you nothing. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
This is case number 518 on the calendar in the matter of Lockhart versus Schaefer. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks have seats. You're welcome, Judge.
Miss Lockhart, you and the defendant were in a relationship, and I gather leased an apartment together. There came a time when you claimed that he threw you out of the apartment and kept some property that belonged to you. In addition to that, you claim that he has been engaging in a course of harassment against you, and you want to be compensated for that as well. Mr. Schaefer says, totally untrue, you moved out on your own. He is counterclaiming for half of the rent for the months that were remaining on the lease after you left, and that the items that you claim belong to you were actually jointly purchased. So, tell me when you leased this apartment and how long was the lease? Questions are going to get harder.
Okay. According to his countersuit, he put August 5th. I honestly don't remember the date that we signed the lease.
When did you sign the lease? When was it to begin?
August 5th.
Of
02.
Are you still in the apartment, sir?
Yes.
Do you plan on staying there?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move out of the apartment?
On November 17th, I went to work and got off at 6. At 6 o'clock, we had a store meeting. After the store meeting, some coworkers and
I know you have this in your mind.
Okay.
But we're going to have to do this my way.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Good. You moved out on November 17th?
He kicked me out. I came home and all my belongings were outside on the lawn.
When you say all your belongings, were they packed in suitcases? Were they packed in garbage bags? Were they just thrown out?
They were piled up. There were a couple of chairs and a set of TV trays. The mattress to my bed was in the doorway, like propping it open permanently. The bed springs and the frame of the bed were still in the house. They were in the living room, along with my clothes and...
Where were your clothes?
Just thrown in a heap, like they had been ripped out of drawers and out of the closet, along with different items like tapestries and pictures off of the wall.
Okay. What was the hissy fit about, Mr. Schaefer?
I believe that I had caught Jessie with another man.
What do you mean you believe? Either you did or you didn't.
Well, she received a ride home from a gentleman that evening, and they were in the vehicle together when they arrived at the apartment.
Yes. So somebody was in a car with her?
Yes. Someone that she had priorly explained to me that she had maybe feelings for.
Is that what caused this hissy fit?
Yes.
So what did you do with her clothes?
I didn't do anything with her clothes. I left them in the closet and in the drawers. I may have moved a few items to the front of the apartment, but...
What do you mean may have moved, Mr. Schaefer? Let's get it buttoned down, sir.
I moved a few of her things.
What did you move?
Her bed frame.
And where did you move the bed to?
Just to the front of the apartment.
And what about the TV trays?
I may have set a TV tray outside.
Outside where?
In the front porch.
And what was that supposed to connote to her?
Just a message that unfaithfulness is just not, you know, it shouldn't be a part of a relationship, and if she wanted to be that way, she needed to remove her things. Just leave.
So what you said to her was, if you have any feelings for this other person, I want you out of the apartment.
Yes,
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. So then I don't have to entertain your counterclaim. You threw her out. You threw her out. That doesn't necessarily mean she has to leave. She could stay. You might not be happy with her staying under those circumstances, but she's entitled to stay. You threw her out. Well, you took her bed, you threw it out. You took her things, you threw it out. And you said to me, what I told her was, I'm not going to tolerate that. You want to have a relationship with somebody else, get out. So you threw her out. Counterclaim is dismissed. Now we can deal with your claim. Perfect. What items do you claim that he retained that belonged to you?
From the next day, I went back to the apartment because I still hadn't even gotten my cell phone out of it. From that point up until right before Thanksgiving, I was in and out of the apartment with the aid of my friend Jamie and my parents to remove my items. Never was my PlayStation 2 or 8 of my games there. And those, okay, sorry, I have a loud voice. I apologize.
No, you just are droning on. I said to you, what items do you claim are in the house?
Those are the items.
PlayStation, you know, you gave me a whole story.
Okay.
It's not necessary to give me a whole story unless I need a story.
I'm sorry.
PlayStation and games. Now, Mr. Schaefer, I've read your answer very clearly, and you said that the only property you retained was purchased jointly.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
But then you go on to say, the next sentence of your answer says, purchased the games together. It doesn't say we purchased the PlayStation together. Now, are you being careful with your language, sir?
Yes.
Good. So the PlayStation belonged to her because she bought it?
Yes.
You didn't think I'd notice?
No,
You were hoping for the best. Fine. PlayStation goes back to Miss Lockhart, Mr. Schaefer. Now, is it a fair statement that two of you jointly purchased the games to play on the PlayStation?
Well, for all intents and purposes, we can say that, but I can't swear that he bought any of them because I don't believe he did.
You buy some?
Yes.
How many did you buy?
Probably about 3 or 4.
And how many do you have? 8?
No, I only have 7 that she's listed.
Okay. So if you bought 3 or 4, let's say you bought 3 and you return 4 to her, sir, unless you want to be a sport and return all 7 since you don't have the PlayStation anymore. Right? Mm-hmm. So anywhere from 4 games to 7 games, you're going to return to her. We'll see what kind of a guy you are. Now, you want to pursue this issue of harassment.
Yes, please.
Well, is it true, Mr. Schaefer, that for a period of time after Miss Lockhart left, you were annoying her?
That was only after she returned to the apartment twice, once asking me for a ride home from work after we had split up, and we spent some evenings together. So I was a little bit confused as to her intentions.
When was that?
2 or 2.5 weeks after the break.
According to you, there were emails, a whole bunch of them. Mm-hmm. When were they?
On December 22nd, he emailed me 422 times with things such as, Jesse, are you getting a new for Christmas?
I didn't ask you to read them.
The numbers that I've circled on each of those pages are how many times that particular email was sent to me. One was sent 171 times in a row. Others were sent just once.
They were all sent on the same day.
Yes, they were.
December 22nd, December 23rd, he was having a bad day.
That wasn't the only bad day, Your Honor.
You were having a bad day, Mr. Schaefer?
Yes, ma'am.
I got it.
Could we talk
Ms.
about some of
Lockhart,
the other bad days he's had?
What are other bad days?
One of the bad days, he followed me from my work to the gas station and tried to run us off the road she was driving. Another bad day, he called my cell phone 71 times in a period of 4 hours.
What, was that before or after you spent an evening with him?
This would have had to have occurred after I'd gotten a ride home from him.
When you got a ride home from him, tell me about it.
I don't know which job I was working at, but the person who I was working with was unable to take me home, and I wasn't able to get a hold of Jamie, who was the girl I was living with, and I called other people and only got voicemail, so I asked him to give me a ride home.
You work in the same store?
No, we do not.
So you had to call him at his place of business?
Actually, I think I called him at his house. Mm-hmm. What had happened is we went a few days without speaking after I moved my things out, and we were trying to reconcile it. Understand, I've been with him for over 2 years at that point, so even though he did do all this to me, I didn't know where my emotions were, and I thought, you know, if you want to be grown up about this, this is a good opportunity for us to talk. And we went back to his house, we talked for a while, and then she came and picked me up from his apartment, our old apartment.
You can't send out mixed messages, Miss Lockhart.
I'm sorry.
But you know you did.
I'm paying for them.
You sent out mixed messages. You can't send out mixed messages. Mr. Schaefer, you're going to leave her alone?
Yes.
You have a restraining order in place now?
Yes.
Have there been any further contacts?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I still get calls and hang-ups, and I've called him I believe it's him because I don't know of anyone else who calls me and hangs up repeatedly.
So you called him for what?
I called back the number and left a message saying, I will get my phone tapped, and then the police will only have to look to see if it was you that was calling, and then you will have gone against a restraining order and will be put in jail. He still follows me to our neighborhood bar, which is supposed to stay at least 500 feet away from me. And he goes to conveniently the same gas station in our neighborhood, things like that. He text messages all of my friends with stuff about me, and they'll just have to individually get their own restraining orders.
Mr. Schaefer, if any of what she says is true, which is difficult to prove here,
Right.
I'm going to suggest to you that you got to put a period and move on. If you feel sad one day, you have a couple of drinks at home, you decide to pick up the phone or to go over to your computer and memorialize any of your feelings and these things, it's counterproductive. It didn't work out. It's finito. Over. And all you have to return is the PlayStation.
Okay.
And between 4 and 7 games. And stay out of her life.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't send him any mixed messages. If you need a ride home, call a cab. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right? Mixed messages are very bad. Men don't understand mixed messages. They understand clear. This is wood. This they understand. They don't understand soft stuff, Miss Lockhart. Do I make myself clear? Good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
He's put me through hell.
Spitefulness or vengefulness,
He's been a complete jack.
you know, wasn't a bad deal when we were together.
He says that he knows that I was gallivanting with another man.
Things went sour, and unfortunately, this is where it ended up.
I hate men.
And now the next case.
All party to Madam Eldridge versus Eldridge. Step forward, please.
Truck driver Johnny Eldridge is suing his brother, Tommy Eldridge, for an electric bill. Tommy is countersuing for non-payment of services rendered.
Mr. Eldridge, the defendant is your brother, and according to your complaint, you made a loan to him for an electric bill, a couple of $100s. He refuses to pay you back. Your brother says it was really a helping hand, there was never a loan, and he is counterclaiming because he said he did a whole lot of work for you around the house for which he was never compensated. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you pay this electric bill for him?
September 14th.
Why?
I feel sorry for him.
Tell me how it came about that you even knew he had this electric bill problem.
Well, out of my father's house the day before, on the 13th.
You were at your father's house?
Yes,
The two of you?
yes. And that afternoon, I get home, and he's called, wanted to borrow money to pay his electric bill. And I said, I don't know.
Well, what did he say to you?
He said his girlfriend has left him, so he has no money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Johnny Eldridge says his brother, Tommy Eldridge, owes for a loan to pay his electric bill. Tommy says the money became an issue when he refused to rent a hotel room for his brother and his mistress.
Go ahead.
So that next day, I called him up and said, Tom, I'll pay your electric bill for you. So when can I have the money back? He says, I'll give it back to you when my mother-in-law gets back from the coast.
When his mother-in-law gets
or
back?
no, his girlfriend's mother, because she owed him some money.
All right. When his girlfriend's mother straightens up, he'll get straightened up and he'll give you back your money.
Right. And then I gave him the money, gave him a check.
How much did you give him?
$257.33.
Okay.
And then he says, I'll pay you back within a week. A week went by, I called him up, how's everything going, Tom? Didn't have nothing to say to me. So I showed up at his house a month later and said, Tom, what's the problem? Can you not pay me? He goes, no, I don't have no money. I don't have no money to pay you. So I said, well, can you not call me and tell me that you got problems?
I called him all the time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. True, he gave me the money. He called me and asked me if I wanted the money. And I don't borrow money. I'm 44 years old. I don't borrow money from nobody. Parents, him, sister, brother, it don't matter.
So just a second. So he called you.
He knew Yes, ma'am.
So he called you and said, I want to give you this money? Is that
Yes,
what you're
ma'am.
telling me?
Yes, ma'am. I've had 19 surgeries since May 1st of 2002, and I'm disabled, can't work. He called me. My fiance works her tail off to make ends meet. We have 3 kids. He calls and asks me if I need to borrow money for my electric bill. He calls me.
Oh, just a second. How did he know that you needed money for your electric
Because
bill?
I'm not working. And knowing that she's just a waitress and I've got 3 boys.
I do
Mr.
that all the
Eldridge,
time.
What?
I do that all the time. I call everybody, see if they need money. I got so much money, see.
Oh, you're being facetious. I was...
That's what he thinks.
No, listen, Mr. Eldridge, what you said to me doesn't make sense, sir. It doesn't make sense that somebody calls you up and said, by the way, do you need money to pay your electric bill? If you said to me, my brother called me and said, listen, I know you're having hard times now. Is there anything that I can do to help? And you said, well, you could help me out with my electric bill. That sounds normal. But when you say to me, he called you up and said, listen, I want to help you out by paying your electric bill, that doesn't make sense, Mr. Eldridge.
No, he told me I have some work to do for you. I have a whole list of stuff at work I've done for him that we agree on a price. We would not be here in this courtroom today on October 8th. He calls me and asks me if I would go to Holiday Inn in Weatherford and get a motel room for him and a girl. He's got a beautiful wife that he's been married for 10 years to. And I told him I would not do that. The next morning, he come beating on my door and jumped my tail and said, I'll see you in court. Then I get this certified letter. It says, I'm responding to your countersuit. F you. I'll see you in court.
Mr. Eldridge, could we get down to the $257.33 for the electric bill, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I listened to what you had to say, and I read your answer. And your answer says, he paid the electric bill in September. I figured we were even because of all the work that you had done for him.
Right.
And then you turn around and counterclaim for $1,020.
Yes, ma'am, I did that because...
Well, $257 here and $1,020 here. How do you write here, I figured we were even, and then turn around and sue him for 4 times as much money?
Because he don't consider all the work I did for his wife, him, on his son's car that he won't take to the shop and have fixed. He calls me to come and have it fixed.
So what?
Well, because I'm not working, and that's what he does.
Mr. Eldridge, did you have an agreement with regard to the projects that you did to the house that you were working for him?
Yes, ma'am. We had a certain price.
Oh, well, let me see the agreement.
Yes, ma'am. I had a certain price, and he never, ever paid me what we agreed on.
Just a second. I want to see what he agreed on. Are you getting disability, sir?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm not. I've been denied twice. I have an attorney.
Did you? Oh, okay. So you applied for disability.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And when were you injured? In May?
May 1st, 2002.
When did you do all this work for your brother? Before or after that?
During it.
That's why you didn't get disability, Mr. Eldridge.
No, ma'am, it's not.
Well, let's see. You say that during the time that you were seeking disability, that you couldn't work, you erected a fence on each side of the backyard.
With his help.
Hanging a venter hood for an agreed price. Changing a starter in a Camaro. Then you did brakes for a truck.
I'll sit down to do that.
You're a hustler, Mr. Eldridge. You pay your brother back the electric bill, $257.33. Your counterclaim's dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. This is case number 530 on the calendar in the matter of Bashar versus Ashby. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Mrs. Bashar, is this your husband?
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant used to be married to your husband, and they have a child together, a girl. How old is she?
She's 8 years old.
This is the problem. You have custody of your daughter.
Joint custody.
But they were going on vacation, and they asked if, while the child was in your custody, if they could take her on vacation. You said yes.
Yes.
And they bought a plane ticket for her.
Yes.
And then, according to the plaintiff, you decided not to let her go because you were concerned about her safety. And Ms. Bashar wants the money for the plane ticket because she says it was a non-refundable ticket and you really had no basis to withhold your consent. What's the child's name?
Bristol.
Where does she live?
With both of us. I work shift work, and sometimes I have to go to work in the middle of the night. So those weeks, so it doesn't interrupt her school, I allow her to stay with him. And then the other weeks that I don't work those shifts, she stays with me.
Great. And it's been working for how long?
For 3 years.
That's great. You to be congratulated, everybody. You have other children?
No, I don't.
Do you?
No, ma'am.
You?
Yes.
How many other children do you have?
I got 3 girls
Where are they?
with their moms.
Okay. Where were you planning on going on vacation?
Shreveport, Louisiana,
When?
July 4th of 2002.
You bought the plane ticket.
Yes, I bought mine in February. I bought hers in April.
Who else was going?
My husband was driving, and the original plan was for the daughter to go with her father. And her mother requested that she fly with me.
Why did you want her to fly?
I didn't request that she fly. Her father came to me and said, with my daughter, that she would be interested in flying with her. I said that would be okay.
You afraid to fly?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever flown?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up here. You have flown, but you don't like to fly.
Yes, ma'am.
What changed your mind?
Changed my mind was she sent me a letter approximately 8 days before. She said, by the way, we will be leaving early 4th of July morning. That was the first time I had been told that they were leaving on the 4th of July. And that made me just very nervous. And that's when
because of the air travel.
Exactly.
On July 4th.
Prior to that, my daughter has, to this day, is afraid to fly.
When did you think that they were leaving?
I just assumed that they were flying out like on a Sunday and coming back on the following Sunday.
Did you tell her that immediately?
Yes, I did.
What did you say?
I called her and told her on the phone that I didn't feel comfortable with my daughter flying on the 4th of July with all the terrorist threats. It was on the news, and she's my only child. I just didn't want her to fly on that day.
So?
Out of respect to the mother, I granted her wishes, but she also told me on the same phone call that she would pay me back whatever it cost.
Did you tell her that?
I probably said whatever. I said, it doesn't matter to me. I can't even remember exactly what all was said because I was so upset about it.
Did you want your daughter to fly on July 4th?
Yeah. I mean, they say you're safer in the air than you are in a vehicle, and I know the way I drive, and they know the way I drive.
We're not talking about usually, sir. We're talking about the fact that on that particular July 4th,
I didn't have a problem.
the government gave you...
No, I'm not going to live...
You're not paying attention to me. You're talking. Is there something wrong with you?
I'm trying to answer your question.
You're not listening. You're not receiving. I want you to first receive, then you can process the information that I'm giving you in the question, and then give me an informed answer. We're not talking about ordinary times. We're talking about a heightened time of alert when there were alerts of certain potential terrorist threats surrounding the airline industry for that period of time. Do you remember reading the newspaper then, sir?
Yeah.
Do you remember watching the news?
Mm-hmm.
Did it give you any cause to be concerned about flying on July 4th?
Not really, no. I mean...
But you weren't flying.
Well, I was... my daughter...
But you weren't
concerned
flying.
for my daughter. I mean, I'm always concerned for my daughter. But no, I wasn't flying. I don't fly, whether it's on July 4th or whenever.
Well, you have flown, according to you.
That's what made up my mind not to fly no more.
Well, why did you crash?
No, it just scared the hell out of me. Heck out of me, excuse me.
What were you afraid would happen?
Crash.
Do you think that if the government told you that it was more likely that something bad would happen on a particular day, you might even be more frightened?
Personally, yes, probably.
Good. And you think that if...
I'm not one to try to put a bunch of fear into my daughter's head and stuff and scare her to death about something that's going to stick with her forever.
Oh.
You know?
You have no children?
No, ma'am.
You have one child?
Yes, ma'am.
He has 3. Somebody's not watching out for us.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Karen Bashaw says her husband's ex-wife, Tracy Ashby, owes for the cost of her daughter's plane ticket. Tracy says the ticket was for the 4th of July, and she didn't think it was safe.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Even though Mr. Bashaw doesn't seem to get it, he should. I can't help it, you know. I'm not responsible for what went in to make him what he is as a parent, as a person. But it would seem to me that if your wife purchased the ticket, before I would let my wife sue my ex-wife in a situation, sir, where everybody seems to be getting along for the benefit of this child, I would say to my wife, I don't want you to be out any money. Honey, I'll give the cost of the ticket to you because it's true, I can understand why she might be stressed to let the baby fly on July 4th. She's afraid. just like I'm afraid. So I'll give you the money for the ticket. That's what a normal person might do under the circumstances. So the ticket was $235, is that right?
That's the remainder, Your Honor.
What do you mean the remainder?
Tracy gave me $60 in my home, and my husband
Just a second, what was the full amount of the ticket?
$330.
$330.
And 50 cents.
$330 divided by 2 equals $165. And she's already given you
60.
60.
And then she said she paid $70 for baseball tickets of the little girls' baseball team.
The pictures.
And she wanted half of $70. So I told her I would deduct $35 from the ticket, and the remainder was $235.50.
Not my remainder. Let me tell you how I figure it. I figure it that both parents should pay equally. So I attribute half of this ticket to him.
I already agreed to that.
Oh, perfect. You see? You're getting smarter by the minute. So half of that is $165. She already gave you 60, leaving a balance of 105. You got the pictures, the baseball team pictures, or you agreed that between the two of you that they would pay for half and you would pay for half. That's 35. That leaves $70. So that's what you owe her. Okay. For the ticket. $70. Easy.
Thank you.
Sounds to me as if you've worked out a lovely working arrangement. If you can continue to do it, terrific. You know, you ought to be saluted. Don't let any stupid things like this interfere.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's got a problem with me, obviously.
Her response was, oh, well.
She's left me nasty messages on my machine, and I don't understand why.
I want it over with. I want it to end.
They have problems, too.
Now that this is over with, I hope we can get along.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Martin versus Brown, step forward, please.
64-year-old factory worker Darlene Martin is suing her daughter, accountant Julie Brown, for unpaid rent, car registration, and the cost of parking tickets. Julie is countersuing for improvements she made to her mother's home.
Mrs. Martin, Miss Brown is your daughter,
Yes.
and it is your claim that she owes you for some rent on a
Yes.
house. Is it a house or an apartment?
It's a duplex.
That you were renting to her family, and a small bill that you say that you advanced her money for. She says that she doesn't owe you anything for the rent. You evicted her, and you owe her money because she put some carpeting down in this apartment, and you unceremoniously evicted her, probably because you didn't like the new boyfriend. I assume this is the new boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. When did your daughter move into your apartment?
January of 2002.
And who did she move into the apartment with?
Her husband and her 2 children.
And how long did she live there?
Till January 2 of 2003.
And did she pay rent pretty faithfully from January of 2002 up until about November? Or
Yes, yes.
So why don't you tell me what happened in December of 2002 that caused the problem?
Well, in November of 2002, I called her about 3 times, and I told her, Julie, I have to have the rent money to make the house payment because I'm only working a 4-day week. She got huffy about it and says, well, she wrote me a check for $300, which I have a copy of, and a note saying that I'll get the rest when she's got it because she ain't got it.
When was, what was the full rent?
$500. I raised it in October.
Did your mortgage go up?
No, but I figured as long as her boyfriend had moved in, you know, that's going to be more payment on the water bill and everything else. And when she was living there with her husband, I told him that I was going to raise the rent in June anyways.
Well, what if she couldn't pay it? Your expenses didn't go up.
Well, the mortgage payment went, my taxes went up, way up.
Did they? Really? How much?
They went from 800 to over 1,000 on my taxes.
Well, that's $200 a year.
So that's why I raised it.
Just a second, that's $200 a year they went up.
Yes.
Well, $200 a year divided by 12 isn't $200 a month.
Yeah, but she was getting very cheap rent as it was, $300, you know,
I
to
understand.
$500.
She's your daughter. If you think I'm coming down hard on you, it's because I don't understand, A, your position yet, and B, why you would sue your daughter anyway. When did you evict her?
The end of October, I believe it was. I told her because I didn't want her boyfriend to move back in when he got out of the workhouse.
Gave your daughter an eviction notice, your daughter and her 2 children.
That's because I didn't want David to move back in. I don't like him. Her daughters don't like him. And, he, you know, I don't like his police record. I don't like anything about him.
You're entitled not to have him live in your home. You don't have a written lease with your daughter, so you can tell her you're going to have to find a new place to live because I really don't want to be aggravated looking at your boyfriend.
I told David that, too. I told David, I says, you're going to have to move because I don't want you. And she says, well, he's not going to move. If he's going to have to move, then I move. And I says, that's your prerogative, Julie, to do whatever.
Fine. Is that what happened?
Yes.
She's entitled not to have people live with her or in her property that she doesn't like, especially under these circumstances. So she's entitled to do that. The way you went about it, as far as I'm concerned, or the story that you just told me, is all wrong. On what month did you move out?
December 31st.
Did you pay your mother rent for December?
No, I didn't.
Tell me why.
I didn't pay her because I had, like, other legal issues, added attorney fees.
For what?
Because she's, you know, tried to have my kids taken away. I had to find a place to live, and it's, you know, I didn't have all that money to pay her.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm in accounting.
What kind of work does your boyfriend do?
He does plating.
Is he getting along any better with your children?
I think it's better now that, you know, everybody is separated.
Good. So you understand, if your mother were a private landlord, you would owe your mother $500 for rent.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not going to hear about the other nonsense bill you're talking about for, I don't know how much it was, $37, $57, something like that. Because I think that's ridiculous. You say you put down $1,700 worth of carpeting in the apartment. Where did you put it down? You want your mother to pay for that. That's your counterclaim.
Yes.
Well, tell me about it.
When I moved in January of 2002, we had discussed that she wanted to get new carpeting in there and that she couldn't afford it at that time. And I told her that I could, you know, purchase the carpet and for her to pay me back because it's not my place and I didn't plan on being there, you know, forever. And she agreed to, if I purchased it at that time, that she would pay me back the money that I, you know, paid for the carpet.
Is that right, Miss Martin?
No, I told her, I said, Julie, I says, this carpet up here is not it's not worn out or anything. I says, what we can do is get a good cleaner in here and clean the carpeting. And she said, yeah, but I don't like the color of the carpeting. It was sort of a bluish gray or something. And I said, well, I can't afford it because I says, I'm still paying on the kitchen stove for you.
I'm not so sure that I believe what you just told me, Miss Martin. Is that apartment rented now?
Yes.
Who was it rented to?
Her husband and the 2 girls.
The 2 girls are living with your husband now?
We have joint custody. We have him, I have him 1 week and he has him 1 week.
How much rent is he paying?
He pays $500.
Did he change the carpet?
No.
So the only difference, Miss Martin, is in the amount of rent that you were charging your daughter and son-in-law at the beginning of their lease. The difference in your expense is an additional, according to you, $200 a year in taxes. Is that right?
Yes.
That's the increase. Is
Yes.
that right? And the increase that you were charging your daughter and that you're charging your son-in-law is $2,400 a year. Is that right? The difference between $300 and $500. Is that correct?
Yes.
And am I also correct that the initial $300 a month that you were charging them did, in fact, cover the mortgage? Is that right?
Yes.
So then I'm going to ask you why you chose to litigate this issue with your daughter in a court rather than just say, listen, she lived there for 11 months, she paid me rent faithfully, even after I told her she had to move, even after I evicted her, she gave me a check, right? You evicted her in October, she gave you money in November. So I'm not so sympathetic with you. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
From how many children do you have?
I just have her.
Well, then there's got to be another reason, Miss Martin. I mean, you don't seem as if there's something wrong with you. There's got to be another reason why you would bring a matter like this to court. And I don't care what it is. You're telling me you're bringing this matter to court over $500?
No, she owes $7.
Oh. How much was the carpeting?
I have a receipt here. $1737.82.
And what if I find that you owe her 17?
Well, I've got the thing here saying it was put on her husband's credit card.
I don't care. They were married at the time. It's a wash. She didn't know you anything. And your mother doesn't know you anything. You lived on the carpet for a year, and now your girls are there at least half the time. Is that right?
Yes.
Good. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out. This is case number 490 on the calendar in the matter of Clay versus Todd. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Young lady, have a seat, please.
Who is this?
This is my daughter, Mallory.
How old is she?
15.
I'd like her outside, please. I've read your complaint, and according to your complaint, the defendant was your former fiancé. There came a time when you and your child moved into her home, and it is your claim that you made 2 loans to her. One was for veterinary bills for her dog, and the other was for repairs that were done on her car. Ms. Todd acknowledges the fact that you paid the vet bill, correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Todd acknowledges the fact that you paid to have her car fixed.
Yes.
What she says is that you lived there practically rent-free for the time that you lived there with your daughter. She took care of the majority of the bills, despite the fact that you had an agreement to pay half of the bills. You actually owe her money, but she's willing to say, forget it.
Yes.
Mr. Clay, when did you move into the defendant's house?
Late September, early October of 2000.
And how long did you stay there, sir?
We moved out on January of 2002.
And what was the financial arrangement that you had with Ms. Todd while you were there?
Well, the financial arrangement was never really clear-cut, but I covered things like groceries, Costco, a lot of other expenses, and she paid for household utilities.
Well, so how much money each month did you contribute to the household?
To the household? To put it on a monthly scale, I can give you figures of what I spent during the 14-month period on things like groceries and Costco and pet food and medical bills and cellular phone bills. In total, in rent for the 14 months, I paid her $17,995.74, which is almost $1,200 per month for a 14-month period.
Okay,
there were a couple of months
that would be more than fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true that he paid you $18,000?
That's not the figure I have.
What figure do you have?
I have that he paid about $10,000, a little more than $10,000. So basically, there's a huge dispute here. The dispute is that he moved in from a 1-bedroom apartment that he shared with his daughter, in which he slept on the floor. His daughter was a latchkey child at this apartment, and his pet rat died of heat exhaustion in this apartment.
I'll go back in. What I want to know, Mr. Clay, is I want you to tell me about these 2 loans. When were they made?
Okay.
And tell me the circumstances surrounding them.
We were going to go to the Writers Guild Awards. Mrs. Todd wanted us all to go as a family to the Writers Guild Awards, which she was a member of the Writers Guild. And in order to do so, she did not have all of the money necessary. The tickets were, I think, $500. And so in order to do so, I put $700 worth of PG&E bills on one of my credit cards so that that money could be freed to go to the Writers Guild. But then suddenly, her car needed new brakes. It was going to be $1,200. She didn't have the money, and we needed the car to drive to Los Angeles.
Where was your car?
My car is a little teeny Honda Civic. It wouldn't have worked to carry 4 people in their bags to Los Angeles. So I agreed to place that on the credit card with the idea that she was going to pay, with the agreement that she would pay me back.
Well, tell me about the agreement, because you changed your words several times. You said, with my thought that she would pay me back?
Well, yes, it was, okay, I will put this on the card. You will pay me back when you can pay me back. She goes, she would even state, I'll pay you back. I would state, I'm not worried about it. I know you will. We're a family.
So after the Writers Guild Award, did she pay anything towards that?
No.
Okay, now when did the dog get sick?
Well, the first charge for the dog is on the 9th of March. And so it was shortly after we got back.
Of 01?
Of 2001, correct.
Okay.
And I took the dog, the dog wasn't eating, so I took the dog to the vet, and the vet said that he had a enlarged spleen. And when the vet came by and said, okay, I'm going to do the splenectomy, it's going to be $2,700. The only way for this to be paid for was by me putting it on my credit card. Unfortunately, while the dog was in surgery, or shortly thereafter, the veterinary hospital broke his leg. They proceeded to take him to Davis Medical Center, where they diagnosed him with a vascular cancer and gave a prognosis of 3 to 6 months, that the leg would not heal, that it would need to be amputated and he could go on chemo, and this might prolong his life. I was vehemently against this, but once again, I get a phone call from Miss Todd when she's now in Davis picking up the dog saying, I need you to put this on the credit card and I'll pay you back. And this was another $1,100+ for the amputation of this dog's leg.
Is that correct?
I don't believe I said I will pay you back for these. Peter and I were living as a family. It was, we need to get these expenses done and we need to put them on the card. It wasn't as though I just rushed up to UC Davis. We discussed this with the kids, we discussed this with Peter, we discussed it with our veterinarian at great length and decided that the treatment for the dog was to go to UC Davis.
What about, Ms. Todd, the expenses for the car?
I also put well over that amount of money into the car for car repairs. It was used primarily as the family car.
I assume that it was used primarily as the family car.
Yeah, it's a big Ford Explorer. As he said, he has a little Honda. We hardly went any place in his car.
Mr. Clay, I have several questions for you, sir. I assume that by virtue of the fact that the two of you were standing on opposite sides of the table, that this relationship did not work out.
No, it did not.
Let us assume it had. And you got married. And she didn't give you back this money. Would you be suing her?
Possibly not.
Then that's not a debt.
When somebody...
You see. No, first of all, I'm going to read to you what you wrote with regard in your complaint, which could have very easily resolved at least a substantial part of this lawsuit. You say she was out of work and was in the process of taking her dog's vet to court for malpractice.
Correct.
She promised me that as soon as she won her lawsuit, she would pay me what she owed me.
Correct. Which
That's what you say?
Yes.
So she promised to pay you back for the car and the vet when she won her lawsuit.
Correct.
But she lost her lawsuit.
Correct.
Then you get nothing.
That was not that.
That's what you wrote. Do you understand? That's what you wrote. So, 10 months she made no payments. And you didn't say, where's my money? You didn't bring a lawsuit while you were living together. It wasn't until after you separated that you said, you know, that's not reasonable. She got the car, she got the dog, and I don't have this money, so I have a problem with that. There's a certain lack of, I believe, candor on your part when you say this was a debt that she promised to pay me back. Even you acknowledge that you had sort of a loose arrangement with regard to money. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Good. Case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
New Judge Judy would know what to do. She always does.
She asked me repeatedly, how much money do I owe you? And I gave her a total.
Peter likes to have things his way only, and if he doesn't get them his way, he jumps right in and proves that he's right.
And then when she lost her lawsuit that she was filing, she chose not to pay me back. Told me I owed her money.
I'm really glad I didn't marry him, and I'm really glad this is over, and I thank Judge Judy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Osterman versus Porter. Step forward, please.
Production manager Jean Osterman is suing her children's father, landscaper Lyman Porter. Jean says Lyman sold the children's toys behind their backs.
Miss Osterman, the defendant is your former husband, and according to your complaint, he sold some property that belonged to you and to one of your children. You want to be reimbursed for that property. Mr. Porter says that the property he sold was his. He had a right to sell it.
Yes.
When were you divorced?
1994.
And did the children remain with you?
Yes, we have joint custody.
What property did Mr. Porter take?
He came to my residence and took a trampoline that he had given them summer of 2001.
Is that right, Mr. Porter?
No, ma'am.
What was the trampoline doing at her house?
I had two trampolines, same size, and fixed them up. And we live close to each other, so where they reside, they have a pool, so I figured I can give them one of the trampolines to use for the summer. Because, like now, they outgrew it because of all their activities and things.
Well, you say that you just put it in this past summer. How could they outgrow it in 3 months?
They didn't use it. And I've already replaced the tarp and had the other one restitched. And, you know, receipts to show everything that I've done to take care of
I
them.
don't care whether you've done that, sir. The point of the matter is you can't go to her house and take things off her property without her permission.
I got permission. She wasn't home. I talked to her husband, and got permission.
Really? Are you the husband? Step up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Jean Osterman claims her ex-husband, Lyman Porter, sold their children's toys without permission.
Go ahead.
I was working at home and the dogs were barking, and I came down and met Mr. Porter at the front of the house, and he come over and he had said that he had sold the trampoline and that he had come over to take it down. And because my wife had told me not to get involved with the situations between her ex-husband and her, I said, okay, fine. So I went in the house and tried to get a hold of my wife and couldn't get a hold of her. So she called about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, he was already gone, and she said by no means for him to take it.
You told him he could. Your wife told you not to get involved? Took it. Okay. What's next, Miss Osterman?
He also, the reason I got so upset about the trampoline is that also in June, he had purchased as a gift for my son a YZ 1997 Yamaha motorcycle, and he sold that on him. But my son, prior to getting this motorcycle, they traded another one of his in on it, that he worked really hard for his dad and his business, and he worked the whole summer and he saved some money. And LJ can tell you more of that, but Lyman just up and sold that too and wasn't going to tell anybody about that.
Why did you do that for, Mr. Porter?
Okay, why I did it, the bike was a very small bike, and he outgrew it. He's a junior or a senior this year. He would squish it. I have other 2 bikes and trailers that they could use.
Well, what do you think that this is all about, Mr. Porter? I don't want to get your kids up here and testifying, but why would you do anything that would irritate your children?
They don't use it no more.
Why would you do anything that would irritate your children?
Didn't mean to irritate them.
But you did.
I have other bikes. I have other toys, snowmobiles. They're welcome to anything.
Was this a bike that you used?
Yeah.
All the time?
I use it often, yeah.
Did he have a discussion with you about selling the bike?
No, he never told me.
Does he have other bikes for you to use?
He's got one other one.
Is it in as good shape as the one that he sold?
No.
Mr. Porter, I think you make a big mistake, sir. And that is, it seems to me, you're doing little things that are irritating, and you shouldn't. You've been divorced a long time, since 1994. What is the problem with the 2 of you?
Can I show you some
Yeah,
evidence?
Sure. What evidence do you want to show
I can show you the size of the bike and the size he is.
Here, you don't seem to get my point.
It's the bike. You might as well get rid of it before
Well,
it
you
just sits
discuss
there.
it with him. You discuss it with him.
He never helped me this summer.
You discuss it with him. That's what you do. Put your hand down. Who are you?
The brother and the uncle.
Stay out of it. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, Mr. Porter?
No.
Well, let me try again, because maybe you're just thick or maybe you're simple. You have 2 children. The idea is you're not supposed to do anything to purposely hurt your children. And if you have an irritating situation with your former wife, for whatever reason, and there has to be, because otherwise you wouldn't just show up one day at her door and say, I'm taking down the trampoline, because I decided the kids are too big, they don't play with it, or I decided I want to sell it. That's just stupid and irritating for your children. And then he's got a bike that he used. If it's too small for him, it's also too small for you. So you had no use for it. But before I would sell something that belonged to one of my children that they used, I would say, listen, I have this bike. It's too small for you. We'll sell it. Maybe we'll use the money and buy something else. We'll buy something that's bigger for you, or I have 2 other bikes that you can use. Not just sell it. Now do you understand? No. You have no case, madam.
Your Honor, my son did, on the motorcycle that he sold, my son put $900 of his money down onto it, and he worked for that money in his business. And when he sold the motorcycle, he wasn't even going to tell anybody. I found out by accident that he sold it. I mean, he told me not to tell LJ that he sold the motorcycle, and I did right before he went to Wisconsin. And with the trampoline, my daughter is in cheerleading, and she uses it up until 2 weeks ago when he took it. And these are gifts.
He had permission to take the trampoline.
I don't think that my husband, I asked my husband.
He had permission from your husband to take the trampoline. Your husband is a grown man and could have said to him, you come back when my wife is home. He did not. He said, okay, go in the back and take it. That's it. And he did. Took it, and he removed it from your property. That's it. You have no case with regard to the trampoline. With regard to the motorcycle, if you want me to have your son testify against his father, I'll be more than happy to do that. Step up. Did you give your father money for this motorbike? Or?
I earned $900 the summer of '97, and we went out and we bought a bike. It was a KX80, it was a different kind. And then the summer of '99, we went and traded that bike in, and he bought me this one.
Now I got it. Sit down. So your son feels as if he was at least part owner of that bike because of a series of trade-ins. Do you understand why your son feels as if you had no right to sell that bike without discussing it with him, Mr. Porter? Do you understand why your son feels as if you had no right to unilaterally sell that bike without at least discussing it with him?
The bike didn't even work because of all the...
Do you understand why
Sorry.
your son feels as if you had no right to unilaterally sell that bike without at least discussing it with him?
I guess I could have talked to him more.
Well,
But...
listen. Beauty fades, dumb is forever. Applies equally to men and to women. He doesn't get it, Mrs. Osterman.
I realize that.
He doesn't get it. Just because he's your father doesn't mean he's perfect. He's far from perfect. You may love him anyway, because that's what you're supposed to do. He's imperfect. He doesn't get it. No matter what I say to him, he's not going to get it. What other kinds of bikes do you have at your house, Mr. Porter?
Can I show you a picture?
Sure. Let me see.
Oh, sorry. You get it. Sorry.
Oops.
Sorry.
Okay,
there you go.
what I do.
All right.
Just a minute. Would you take all this crap back? Show me the two bikes that you have at your house.
Okay.
Now, these are the two bikes that you have at your house, sir?
Perfect shape.
LJ, listen to me. Bert is going to hand you this picture and this pen. I want you to make a mark next to the bike you want. Does that say Yamaha?
Yeah.
5 days from today, the court will prepare an order. That bike's to be turned over to your son. Do you understand? 5 days from today. That's the decision of the court. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out. We're on the calendar in the matter of Howard versus Paul. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sirs, have seats.
Mr. Howard, according to your complaint, sir, you retained the defendant's services in making a video. You gave him a deposit of $5,000. You canceled the project, and you want your deposit back.
Yes,
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says that he did a lot of work on your video. If you didn't want to continue, that's your problem. And he is counterclaiming because he alleges that you slandered him by making a false report to the police that he had threatened you. Is that right, sir? Let's hear about the video.
Your Honor, I'm a musician, and ever since I was a young boy, I kind of want...
Mr. Howard?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
You understand?
All right.
Young boy, how old are you now?
40.
40? I don't have time.
Okay. All right.
Let's get to the video.
Okay, just in a nutshell, Your Honor, I wanted to do a music video. I went to a very prominent organization that referred me to him, and unbeknownst to me, she made a deal with him where he would pay her $500 for the referral. And I contacted him, and I discovered that he had some very influential associations with a big-time entertainment company. So he said...
Just a minute. You discussed your video with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is a music video?
Yes, ma'am.
You are a producer?
I own a company that produces productions.
What was the total fee?
It was $10,000. And he said that he was going to throw in freebies because this was his first music video. I brought my entire concept to him. I explained that I had my own scenes and everything that I wanted to do, and that all I needed was for him to film it.
$10,000 for the video. Did you sign a contract with him?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see the contract. This is a contract case. Okay. So you gave him a $5,000 deposit. You have that check, sir?
Yes, ma'am. But prior to signing the contract, we had negotiated for him to hold a check for me until I had a time to have an attorney friend review the contracts. He did not hold the checks. He cashed them prior to me signing the contract. And then when I called him, he was threatening me, talking about, you know, he spent all this time with me,
we'll get to that, sir. You signed the contract. You gave him a check.
Well, I gave him the check, and 2 weeks later, before I even signed the contract.
Can I please see copies of the checks?
Yes, ma'am. This is the first one. I cleared the very next day. And this is the one that cleared later, prior to me even being able to sign the contracts.
You signed the contracts on the 12th of March.
Yes, ma'am.
One check is dated March 7th. They're both dated March 7th. Explain that to me.
He kept pressuring me, telling me I was wasting his time, and he so pressured me and bullied me into doing it. I said, well, just to show you that I'm serious about considering to do the video, here is $2,500. Please hold this until I can have someone review the contract.
That's not the way you do business, sir, so I'm not paying any attention to that. You sign a contract, you sign a contract. Now, what I want to know is when you cancel this contract.
Right after the threat.
Well, what date was that?
That was 2 weeks after the threat because I didn't know what to do.
Give me a date.
April 7th.
So about a month. Now, during the course of that month, did you have meetings with Mr. Paul?
We had meetings prior to the threat, and this was in an effort to...
I'm not getting to the threat yet, sir. The threat has to do with...
Yes, ma'am. We had a lot of meetings.
All right. I assume, Mr. Paul, that you did not do any work prior to the contract being signed.
Actually, we did do work prior to the contract, discussing about creatives, because we don't begin doing creatives unless we have a deposit.
Right. Well, you can discuss it all you like, but prior to signing a contract, it's all just a pitch. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. I want to know between the 12th of March at the time that he signed the contract and the 7th of April, I want to know approximately how much time you spent with him.
67 hours, phone calls just about every single evening, excluding one weekend when I went to visit my folks.
Now, you say 67 hours. Do you have that documented anywhere? Because that's a pretty precise number.
Whenever I have a meeting with somebody, I just document down that time for that. It's just standard business practice.
Okay.
And because he required so much time, more than even the large clients that I have.
That is not true, Your Honor.
Can I finish? I had to cancel other productions because obviously if someone pays a deposit to do a production, they're priority over new business coming in. So it was to my best interest to get this done the way he wanted it to, under the budget and conditions that state. He didn't understand the fact that the more things you use in a production, the more time it takes, the more money it costs.
That's not true, Your Honor. He would always delete it, take everything out that I was presenting, and that, moreover, with the threats is why I wanted to just be done with it. Because I was paying him, it's very emotional for me, Your Honor, because I'm trying to do this for my mother before she passes. And he rejected everything. I was paying him to do my ideas. And he didn't want that. He wanted to do his ideas.
Mr. Howard, what you do usually before you retain a company that you don't know much about, you have a lot of preliminary meetings with them and you make a decision as to whether or not this is a company that you want to use before you sign the contract.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Grafton Howard says production company owner James Paul owes for a refund of the money he spent to make a music video.
Tell me about the threat, sir, that you allege he made to you and when it was.
Every time I found out that he was not doing what I was asking him to do, I would call and ask, why are you deleting everything you promised me? He would just go ballistic. He would curse me out on the phone. He would just say, you know, you're the stupidest person. I'm trying to do this and that. And I would like, why are you cursing at me? I'm your client. And he'd just go off at me.
So could I hear about the threat, please?
we went to a well-known restaurant. After a meeting that I had this gentleman a witness to, he witnessed his demeanor. After he would go up, blow up.
I would like to hear the threat, sir.
Okay, ma'am, I asked him what he would do if I withdrew from the contract because I was afraid of him.
Yes.
And he said he would put a gun to my head. And then he said he would put the gun on himself and tell God it was because I didn't do the production. And that's the reason why I didn't do
Yes,
this.
sir. Go ahead.
I'm sorry I have to laugh because I don't threaten people's life. And to be honest with you, I have a police report here. He's contradicted himself.
Let me see the police report, please.
He filed to the police department 2 weeks after I supposedly did this act. And then he also states in the police report that after I supposedly threatened his life, he stayed and ate dinner with me the rest of the evening?
Just a second.
I mean, if you're going to lie, think of something a little bit more believable.
And Your Honor, he would go off about $2 parking. This gentleman can witness to the fact that he was having a ballistic fit over $2 parking. And Your Honor, I would like to see if I'm sorry.
Is this the basis of your counterclaim, sir? The police came and talked to you?
No, it's not.
Well, what's the basis of your counterclaim?
The basis of the countersuit is this studio that he's so-called mentioned fictitious. I brought him, you know, basically the context, I introduced the context to him. And these are big contexts that took a lot of time for me to get that generate referrals.
Yeah.
He called these people up and sent documents that I threatened to kill him and all this. And actually, one of them says, Jim, you know what? Let's let this thing melt down, and I'll give you some business in a couple of months. He's killing my business.
That's hearsay.
It's also...
That's hearsay.
Okay.
Stop playing with your papers.
Okay.
I felt bad for him in the beginning. After he signed the contract, I felt bad. He told me he got screwed over by a well-known person I cannot mention, and he lived in a shack and had an outhouse and all this. And I said, Grafton, just cancel it. Take your money back before I incur cost.
Oh, Lord.
And leave it alone.
That is not true, Your Honor.
This is the very, very beginning.
Mr. Howard,
this is...
am I looking in your direction now?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't speak unless I look in your direction.
Yes, ma'am.
This is before we incurred any expense and time and effort and work. And this has cost me a lot more than my countersuit. I normally do about 5 to 6 commercials a month. When Grafton signed on, I did 2 that month. And I'm very consistent with the business. Obviously, it's hearsay, you're right, but...
It's a very simple case, sir. Your counterclaim is dismissed because there is no evidence. You, sir, are not entitled to your money back. You're not entitled to your money back because you signed the contract and the defendant did work in the furtherance of that contract. If you were dissatisfied, am I asking for you to say anything?
He witnessed everything, Your Honor.
I don't care what he witnessed. I believe everything you...
threats.
Listen to me. I believe everything you told me. I didn't need a witness to corroborate what you're telling me. You showed me a check. You showed me the contract. You told me how long you worked together, that he wasn't doing the kind of job that you wanted. You knew enough to say to him, I want a lawyer to look at the contract. You just did it in the wrong order, which is stupid. However, he spent, and I believe him, that he spent 60-some-odd hours talking to you on the phone, meeting with you after work, meeting with you during work, meeting with you in the evening, and you couldn't come to a creative understanding. That doesn't mean he's supposed to do that for nothing. Your case is dismissed. That's all. So is your counterclaim.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I have nothing negative to say. I just wish he would understand how business is run.
I understand production. I understand that when you hire somebody to do a job and you already have your own concept, they're supposed to do it.
I told him what he was getting for his money, and I was very specific, and I explained everything, and I had to explain everything maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 different times.
He was having me wanted me to sign off on my creative to get my money back. He wanted my concept. And that's what it was. He's not creative. He doesn't know what he's doing.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Nason versus Greenman Champagne. Step forward, please.
Student Jennifer Nason and her husband Todd are suing Jennifer's sister, 21-year-old daycare provider Neela Champagne, and her husband Kenneth Greenman. The Nasons claim the couple owes for money spent to remodel their home.
Miss Nason, according to what I've read here, your sister and her husband were having a little bit of a tough time, and you offered to let them move into your home, a portion of your home that was to be remodeled. And you said, listen, this is the deal. You pay for the remodeling, Once the remodeling is done, you give us $500 a month. Once it's all paid off, you don't have to pay us any rent. You can live rent-free.
Correct.
That's what you say. The remodeling started. The two husbands didn't get along with each other. They had some words. Your sister and her husband decided not to move in, and you think that they should pay you for all the materials that you invested in to do this remodeling, which is a couple of $1,000s. Your sister and her husband say that there was never an agreement to pay for the remodeling. There was an agreement for them to pay rent, $500 a month, once they moved in. Where were they supposed to live? What part of your house was going to be remodeled?
We have a little room that is adjacent to our one-car garage that we have.
How big?
30 by 50.
It was going to end up being a 2-bedroom, a kitchenette, a dining room, and a living room, all open floor plan.
Let me see pictures of how far you got in this alteration.
We don't have any photographs because we only started putting down the floor, and it looks basically the same way that it was when we started, because we didn't get anywhere with it because they ended up not moving in. So we didn't end up taking any pictures of it, truthfully.
Why do you think they're responsible for the materials that you purchased?
Well, we were doing this for them because they needed a place to live. It was a verbal agreement that they would pay us $500 a month for the material.
After they moved in?
After they moved in.
They never moved in?
No, they didn't ever move in by their own accord.
But they never moved in?
No, they didn't. Because they decided not to move in. So this
you didn't
material
expect them to move in if the two guys weren't getting along. What was the problem?
We were getting along.
Two guys were not getting along. What happened?
We get along fine, as far as I'm concerned, Your Honor.
What happened?
He wouldn't help out at all on anything that we did do in the thing. When he did come over, he'd just stand there, just pick up a couple screws. He wasn't capable of doing anything. For instance, he was taking rocks, throwing me in a dumpster that you pay by weight. And I called him up and asked him to take them rocks out so he wouldn't have to pay so much. He was too busy to come over.
So you were annoyed?
I was annoyed, yes.
So, in case you didn't know it, the men didn't get along.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that until just now?
Yes.
What do you know? You see, you learn revelations every day. Now, what was your interpretation of your arrangement with your sister?
Well, what happened was, originally we had discussed, redoing the apartment, and Todd said, we'll do it, and you just pay us back what you can for rent. And I said, okay, so we went home, we discussed it. I called my sister back. I said, well, as far as what we were looking for in an apartment, to rent your place, we'd pay $500 a month. So then he said, okay, everything started. Probably a couple of days after that had happened, I called her back up. I was like, listen, Jen, we're not going to be able to afford to pay you the $500 right now because Kenny's check from the reserves hasn't come in yet. She said, that's fine. She said, because after all, you're not going to start paying until you move in. And I said, okay, so that's when things went on. Then there was a couple of arguments between my husband and her husband, and then we had taken my 2 nieces.
You mean your 2 nieces?
Her 2 daughters.
2 daughters.
Yes. And there was a miscommunication on the way home.
Well, explain that to me.
We had gone up on one day to visit with my brother. So we thought, as a favor, because we thought they went the same way that we did, we'd meet them at the end of the Mass Pike and we'd just switch off there.
So you were going to give them back their daughters?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So what happened was we went down 95 completely. They went up a different way. Then we get a call, and they wanted us to bring the girls all the way back up, which would have probably brought us about an hour and a half out of our way. So, of course, we got into an argument, me and my sister. So Todd in the background was saying that he was going to beat us both up and that he was going to kill us both if we did not go all the way up. And at that point was when we decided that I wasn't going to put my son in a situation where someone is that violent over something that little.
Okay, first of all, that is exactly how it did not happen. First of all,
Ms. Masson, listen to me very carefully.
Yes.
It doesn't make any difference what the fight was about. It is enough that the 2 of you and the husbands were not getting along. Was there a contract for them to pay for the renovation on your house? Unless you have that contract in writing, You have no contract.
Why did they start paying?
They started paying us for the material.
I have no idea why they started paying. It is stupid for anyone to pay for the renovation in somebody else's house. It would be smart for you to say, look, once we move in, which is what you testify to, once we move in, we will start to pay $500 a month until, which is what you told me, until the cost of the renovation is paid. But that presupposes that they move in. They didn't move in.
That was
and why should she pay for materials that she's never going to enjoy? That's stupid. Goodbye.
Heading to supply point.
Follow me. First doom. Double takedown.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. Help me!
Double takedown.
कितने आदमी थे? Watch your back.
Resources here.
Need equipment. कितने आदमी थे?
इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई?
Help me! Nice try.
First doom.
Help me! Enemy spotted. कितने आदमी थे?
Double takedown. Enemy spotted. Double takedown. Enemy spotted. Watch your back. First doom.
Help me!
Double takedown. Triple takedown.
Need equipment.
Go, go, go!
Thanks. Help me here. Enemy spotted. Thanks.
Resources here. I need equipment.
Need equipment. Thanks. Resources here. Resources here.